Welcome back to CBS Mornings here at 7:30. The car rental giant Hertz is under new pressure this morning, in part for the alleged false arrest of its own customers. Stories we've been telling you about for months now. Our consumer investigative correspondent, that's Anna Werner, has spoken to multiple people who say their lives have been upended by Hertz's actions. And now Senator Richard Blumenthal, citing CBS News reporting, has written a letter to the company's CEO demanding it, quote, take immediate steps to remedy the problems for customers. Anna Werner joins us now. Anna, just a wild, wild story, and it continues. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. Senators are turning up the heat on Hertz, even as more people are coming forward to say they, too, had encounters with police after renting a car from Hertz.
Sir, are you in that Nissan with
Yes, sir.
The man being put in handcuffs is a former federal law enforcement officer.
You're just being detained, you understand? Okay, all right.
He was on a business trip in Oklahoma City on May 9th of last year, he says, when he stopped at a convenience store. He doesn't want his name used because he used to work undercover, but told us...
One of the officers approached me and asked me, hey, is that your car out, that white vehicle out there yours? And I said, yes, sir, it's a rental car.
He'd rented the car from Hertz just a few hours earlier, but police told him the car was reported stolen.
Much to my surprise, I ended up in the back of the police car.
So he pulled up his Hertz rental agreement on his phone and handed it to the officer.
Still not good enough?
Well, I'm trying to see where the actual car is that shows this specific car.
I was getting frustrated because we'd been at this for probably more than 30 minutes.
His frustration boiled over, he says, in a sarcastic comment to the officer.
I made that up. I'm sorry. I made that email up tonight.
Which resulted in this exchange.
Because I can book you into the worst county jail in the entire United States right now, just based on me watching you leave that car and it being reported as stolen. Just like that, okay? And that's a felony charge you'll have to bond out on.
I apologize.
But then the officers contacted Hertz. Turns out 9 months earlier, Hertz had reported the car stolen, but then got it back before renting it out to him.
Another officer comes back, leans over the window and tells the officer he didn't steal this vehicle.
This guy did not steal this vehicle.
Correct.
Hertz told us it did notify police the car had been recovered, but the car was still listed as stolen in the National Police Database, leading to what this former officer says was a potentially dangerous situation.
You have police recovering cars for Hertz. I mean, this is crazy. The officers can get hurt. First responders can get hurt. And then you're talking about the safety of officers and the safety of the general public.
It's a concern one former Hertz manager agrees with. Daniel Stokes says he was arrested at his house in 2006 after renting a car from his own company.
They looked in the garage, they looked up and down the street, asking me, drilling me, where's the car, where's the car? Car's not here. I said, I returned that vehicle close to a year ago.
He says he was handcuffed in front of his daughters.
Daughters are upset, trying to figure out what's going on to their dad. It was pretty traumatic.
Especially traumatic for Stokes because he says he had spent nearly 13 years working for Hertz, including as a manager overseeing 24 branches in the Las Vegas area. He told us theft reports were filed too often.
Why do you say that?
Because it's not actually a theft. They still know where the vehicle is. They still can find the vehicle. That's the frustrating part to me. These are more collection issues than theft issues.
They're not committing a crime. They're not stealing a car, essentially, is what you're saying.
They have no intent of stealing a car.
And nor did he says. He later paid Hertz $750 restitution for the late rental return, and the court dismissed charges filed against him. Now, members of Congress are calling out Hertz. In this letter to the White House Competition Council concerning the rental industry overall, Senator Elizabeth Warren cited the disturbing pattern of customers being repeatedly arrested and cited multiple CBS News reports. And yesterday, Senator Richard Blumenthal sent this letter to Hertz's new CEO, Stephen Scherr, demanding Hertz swiftly correct course and ensure that its customers are not ensnared in legal battles.
Hertz, you have an obligation to correct the record, to take action, to remedy this wrong, to provide people some kind of compensation, and to admit that you've done wrong.
All that after seeing CBS News reporting.
The reporting here has been so powerful and important because it has revealed a practice, pattern of wrongdoing that is absolutely staggering.
Well, Hertz in response says it takes these matters seriously and is reviewing the letters. In a statement, it said, as it relates to the claims made against the company, we're committed to doing right by our customers while also continuing to protect and defend against activities intended to cause harm to Hertz. Now, in regard to Daniel Stokes, he says he was out on disability at the time of his arrest, and a year later, Hertz fired him, in part citing those charges, which were then later dismissed. Hertz told us it doesn't have any records pertaining, that is, to the Stokes matter. Gayle?
Anna, it gets more fantastical the more you tell this story. I feel badly for Mr. Stokes, who's arrested in front of his daughter. That had to be very tough for him and for her. And then the former law enforcement officer, I really admire him. You could tell that he was in control. You could also tell he was very irritated, but he knew exactly how to handle the situation. This is scary stuff.
Anna?
Yeah, might be a bit of a delay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Go, Anna.
Sorry, there is a bit of a delay. And yes, and Gayle, when you talk about scary stuff, that's the thing that we hear from a lot of these customers who, many of them were arrested at gunpoint by police, were terrified, and they don't know what's happening. So in that situation, you have, here's a former police officer who understands the protocol. But for a lot of these people, this is a surprise. They don't know what's happening. And in those situations, things can happen. Things can go wrong. And that's one of the things he was saying was, look, it's not just the people being arrested. It's the officers, too.
Exactly. Anna, thank you. Nothing like a good old satellite delay, I always say. They need to get Hertz needs to get the Avis slogan, "We try harder." Need to work on that. Thank you very much.